Test one, two, three, if I can hear myself. Well, good morning, everyone. It's a little bit after 11 o'clock. I'm News 19 Chief Meteorologist Tim Miller. And here we are looking at a weather impact day today. And, really, we're going to be tracking a winter storm that's developing. Really, it's not today, per se. We've issued it today for the weekend. Let's talk all about what we can expect here over the next, as we get in towards the weekend. Saturday through Monday morning. That's the timeline here with this. Winter weather, yes. That means we're going to have anything from rain, freezing rain, sleet, snow, icy conditions, perhaps accumulating ice. Let's talk about it and find out all what's going on. First off, one of the things I do want to talk about this morning is that you're going to see a lot of things on social media that are going to be scary, right? They're going to give you all types of scary information and things that are going on. And for that part, we're going to... Some folks are just visiting the studio, just making their appearance here, just moving on in, moving on out. I don't want you to take what you see on social media overly seriously. Take it with a grain of salt, all right? Because a lot of times people post things that, frankly, are just fairy tales when it comes to these weather models, right? It's just information that is just there for the latest information that comes through these weather models and ensembles, and posting that information without context is just wrong. So just stay with us. We'll keep you posted with the very latest because it can get rather scary out there. So let's look at what we're tracking here. First off, it's a major winter storm that's going to be developing. And this low is going to be the key to what type of weather we receive. So the track of this low pressure, is going to mean everything for us. If this low would track further towards the south, this winter weather event for us would be more than likely a snow and rain event. If it travels where we think it's going to be traveling, basically on top of us, this is going to be an ice event. If it travels more towards the north, it's a rain event for us and just scattered showers. Don't think that's likely. I think we have two scenarios that I think that are more likely going to happen. One, it's going to go over us and give us an ice event with sleet, freezing rain, a little bit of everything, frankly. Or it could travel further towards the south and gain strength. That, again, would be a snow event for us. Right now, the thinking is, as we are in the Tuesday morning, that this is going to go straight over us, right? So this will be more of an ice event for us. So let's get into what we call basically two weather models. And one of the things that we look for, and I want to show you the similarities in these weather models. Whenever we look at weather models as meteorologists, these are tools, right? They're not the be-all, say-all, right? We take this data and information, and then we apply it locally and see if it fits our parameters of how we forecast. What we'd like to look for in any weather model is consistency. So when there's consistency, in other words, every time there's a new weather model update, right, they're giving new information, is it consistent like it was before, or is it constantly changing? Remember last weekend when we talked about the possibility of snow and rain, all this other type of stuff? The models were constantly changing. There wasn't a model that was basically in sync. In this particular time with this weather event, the models are fairly in sync and they're consistent with each time they issue a new update, right? So when we see that perks our attention up, and that says, okay, well, there's this consistency is what we look for, especially when you're talking different weather models, right? So let me show you this particular model. I'm going to start this one Friday at noon. This is what we often refer to as the GFS. This is an American model, global forecasting system. And then we have the Euro model, which is basically a European weather model, right? So I'm going to show you both of those, and I'm going to show you the similarities here that we're talking about. So this is the latest information that we have in. This starts at noon Friday, and Friday is not an alert day. There's no need for it because it's just rain. Right? There's just rain coming on. It's nothing heavy. If it was heavy rain or some issues, we'd have an alert day for Friday. We don't have that yet. So here's the rain that starts to develop Friday afternoon through the evening. We're fine. There's no issues there. You will notice these arrows. I don't know if you can see closely on your screen these arrows. The arrows are coming in from the northeast. That means cold air is starting to set up. So whenever we're going to have a decent winter weather event for us, we have to have cold air in place. Right? When we have these cold fronts that have cold air behind it and chase precipitation, typically we don't get much in the way of winter weather. In this particular case, the cold air will be in place. So here we are Friday night, 9 o'clock, still dealing with some scattered showers. As we get into the overnight, into early Saturday morning now, this is 5 o'clock, you'll notice the pink is freezing rain, freezing drizzle, perhaps maybe a little bit of sleet. The lighter colors or some of the darker purple colors, that's more of a snow event. So as we go through time here, now we're into Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. Notice the winds are coming in from the northeast, and this becomes freezing rain, freezing drizzle. And then notice the timeline. Look how long that goes. All right, so we started Saturday afternoon early. We're into Saturday night, 7 o'clock. We're still dealing with that. All the way through Sunday morning at 5 a.m., we have hours upon hours of either freezing drizzle or freezing rain with sleet. Let's continue now. There's our timeline through Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon. Freezing rain, freezing drizzle, and sleet, right? And it's very cold air coming on in. What that means is that this would allow, if this plays out, the accumulation of freezing rain on top of each other, right? So you're talking about generally speaking, a quarter to a half inch of freezing ice on power lines is about 500 pounds. Right, so you're talking all this weight on power lines. Power lines would break. Trees, of course, would start to snap. Bridges and overpasses would be almost, impossible to deal with. This is Sunday at 1 o'clock. Let's continue this timeline. Notice there's Sunday afternoon, 3, 4 o'clock. Let's should have put a pause in there, but nonetheless, from about 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon all the way to Monday morning at 5 a.m., we're dealing with freezing rain, turns over to sleet, and the possibility of snow on the back end of this. This could conceivably mean we could have accumulating ice that could be anywhere from a half inch to an inch, perhaps even more. I don't really know. We don't know as far as accumulation totals. And if you read anything that tells you accumulation totals, don't believe it, because there's no way on earth anybody could have a clue on what that would be at this point. We do know this: by 5 o'clock in the morning or so in this model, everything starts to wind down. So I would say by noon Monday, it would be done. But if we have to go through the impacts of what we just saw, we'd be dealing with the after effects for days on end of this, all right? Let's jump ahead to one more model I'm going to show you. This is the Euro model, and this is the model we've been showing, because there's no sense of showing you all these different models. Let's pick with one that we believe is telling the right story, that we think is going to be affecting us, with the caveat, knowing that things are going to change, right? This starts at noon Saturday. Friday shows the same thing, rain. No need to show you the rain. We know it's going to rain on Friday. So here's Saturday with our little sort of mix from about, I would say, northern Richland County into Fairfield, Chester County, Newberry, northern Saluda County, and then areas towards the north. Here's our freezing rain from Lexington County, Aiken, Edgefield, McCormick counties, Orangeburg, Bamberg, Barnwell counties. This then takes over by about Saturday at 4 o'clock. Watch the timeline there. So here we are. We get rid of any snow or mix, and we're dealing with freezing rain, freezing drizzle, and sleet. There it's 10 o'clock Saturday. Watch the timeline. 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. We're still dealing with this. Let's continue. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, we would still be dealing with freezing rain, freezing drizzle, and sleet. Remember, this adds on top of each other, right? So our temperature is 32 degrees or below. So what it does, it just adds insult to injury. It just keeps piling on the ice. And if that happens, we're talking widespread power outages. We're talking trees, of course, down, sidewalks covered with ice, roads covered with ice. If this would come into play, it wouldn't make driving hazardous. It would make it nearly impossible. So this is 10 a.m. on Sunday morning. Let's go through time here. There's Sunday afternoon. So 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. This would be a scenario of which I've not seen before. Sunday, 3 o'clock, we're still dealing with this. Even though the ice storm, remember 2014, we had one 2014, we had one 2004 or 2004. This would be on the same line of that. But I want to show you something interesting. Notice this is Sunday night, 8 o'clock. Notice we have rain here, right? What does that mean? That's an indication of warmer air. So with this system, for us to definitively say we're going to get snow, freezing rain, sleet, and tell you exactly how much it is, that's impossible, because the way these winter storms work are different from like when we're talking summer-like thunderstorms, right? We can pretty much nail those. That's pretty, from a weather standpoint, that's pretty easy. This is more difficult because normally when you're talking the atmosphere, the higher you go, right, the colder it gets. Well, we're going to have opportunities to where different layers of the atmosphere, like on the surface where we're standing now, it's 30 degrees, let's say, 30, maybe 29 degrees. You can go up another 5,000, 6,000 feet and it's 38 degrees. You can go another layer higher than that and it could be 25 degrees. And then another layer of that, it could be maybe, I don't know, 38 degrees. I'm just throwing numbers out here. But to give you an idea of that, you could have different layers of the atmosphere that are warmer or colder. And that makes for an unbelievably complicated forecast, right? It's not impossible to forecast, just makes it complicated. So here's the opportunity of some warmer air. So if we get a warmer nose, basically what we call in the weather, it's like sticking your nose into somebody's business. So we get a warmer nose, meaning a little patch of warmer air aloft, that could change freezing rain just to sleet or all rain. So it could be an absolute mess, and depending upon the temperature, could flip it over to snow. So this is 8 o'clock on Sunday. Let's go through time here. So notice that warmer air, if you will, even though we still have a northeasterly wind here, Clarendon County, southern part of Clarendon County, Manning, south of Manning, it may be some rain, but all of this still is freezing rain, freezing drizzle. Remember, this has been going on since when? Since Saturday, right? If this plays out. We're into Monday morning at 5 o'clock. So remember the difference. So this somewhat matches the last model I showed you. The difference is, remember 5 o'clock on the previous model, it basically had a snow line through Columbia, basically through Camden all the way down to Aiken, and points north were clearing out. This particular model doesn't have any of that. It has the same thing going on. So I stopped it at 5, and I could carry it on here. My feeling is it would probably, in this particular model, wind down by about noon. If all that plays out, it would be a very bad scenario for us because we would have ourselves a lot of ice all over the place, meaning we'd certainly have widespread power outages, the opportunity of which maybe not getting power for days if this would play out. The key is if. I don't think any of us know. I certainly cannot tell you exactly how much we're going to get from this. I do know we're going to get a winter event. That much we do know. But how much we're going to get, how much of it's going to be freezing rain, freezing drizzle, will it be sleet, will it be snow? None of us really know at this point. We will have a much better handle on this as we get towards Friday with the amount of precipitation that we're going to have. And I know that's frustrating because we're talking about a winter storm. We really would like to have some concrete answers here. I'm with you 100% on that, but we just don't really know. And we're always going to shoot straight from the hip here and tell you really what we see and what the truth is, not just make stuff up. That's never going to happen. So what all this pans out to be, as of this morning, here's the takeaway. As of right now at 11:14 this morning. If you're just joining us, great to have you with us. Thank you for being here, and please be with us throughout this. One of the things I don't want you to do is to panic or to get upset or get bent out of shape by this. There's no need for that. We're going to get through all this together. As we have information, we'll keep you informed as exactly what's happening and how to prepare for something like this. That's all. So it's a major winter storm developing. That much is true. This is going to have some decent impact on us. The timeline is Saturday through Monday morning right now, with the caveat that we'll be able to tweak all this as we go through time here. So what can we expect? We can expect the whole gambit of everything. Everything winter can throw at us. Rain, check. Freezing rain, sleet, maybe grapple as well, which is winter's version of hail. Those little tiny little pieces of ice that fall, right? We could have some of that. And we could have it all mixed in with some snow. So I think it's a little bit of everything that we could possibly get out of this. We will have the very latest, of course, on air, online at WLTX.com, here on our Plus channel, WLTX Plus, and of course, all of our social media channels as well. I don't want you to hesitate to not ask a question, right? So if you have any questions at all, you can email us. You can also go to my Facebook page as well. Feel free to ask any questions. I wish we had some definitive answers for you on exactly how much precipitation we're going to receive and what it's actually going to be, okay? That we just don't know right now. And again, I can't stress enough the social media stuff. If you see people that are telling you exactly the way it's going to be, don't believe them, because nobody knows until we can really get a handle on this. What we do know is this, right? That's all we can tell you at this point, and then show you what we're looking at. The reason we show you these models is because there's confidence that we're building because we're consistently seeing the consistency, right? Typically, these weather models in wintertime, the only thing they are consistently is inconsistent. But now that we see this pattern, that's what's most important. All right, it's 11:16 this morning. Thank you for being with us. We'll continue to keep you updated on the very latest as more information comes in. By all means, stay with us. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out, because we are here for you to make sure that you and your family are safe and that you're not worried or panicking about the situation. And we'll continue to keep you updated with the very latest.